Welcome back to Factory Sealed. It is February 7th, 2016. My name's Eric Peters, and joining me today, Mr. Yomragan.
Good morning, Eric.
Good morning, Thomas. Is it nearly as early for you as it is for me?
Not nearly early enough.
Nearly. How about you, Mr. Daniel? Is it as early for you?
Yeah, it is absolutely spiffingly early, old B.
I don't believe you because you're in the same time zone as Mr. Yamas.
That's what I would have you believe, but the Northeast is actually at its own time zone.
Quite. I believe that for Jessica Clarkson, it might actually be a little earlier than for you two.
I don't know. Too early.
Is that your posh British accent?
No, I wasn't even going to attempt that.
She sounded like she was in pain.
Like, do we need to send an ambulance?
Sound like you.
Jess has keeled over.
Jess ruined it. I was going to go the whole show just getting douchier and douchier. The end of the show, we're just...
Like, so nasally.
Yes, that's the
Beautiful.
point.
Yes, would you like to attempt a posh accent
Come on,
just to
Jess.
fit in?
Just say the word quite.
Quite. I'm trying to get nasally.
What?
Yes, quite.
That's how you perfect an accent, though. Like, that's the key to
Say
it. You find a phrase that
Jeeves, fetch my biscuits.
Jeez, fetch my biscuits.
It's good, Jess. It's
So
not
good.
terrible.
I'm retiring now.
No.
That was it. My golden moment.
That was fun. That was good, Jess. I'm proud of you for that one.
Oh, me.
Whew. Are you okay, Dan?
I don't know. So unexpected. She sounds like Tom's grandmother.
I was going to say this. Sounds like the old ladies in central London. What? Clean the chandelier.
I have this really terrible perception that downtown London is just a bunch of people standing around with monocles and canes, just going, quiet.
It's
I
legit.
can take you where that happens.
Because whenever I come over, Tom, at some point, it will happen. I want to just put on the most opulent evening of just ridiculous London stereotype. I mean, I'm coming
Ball
over
gowns
like...
and everything.
What's that?
Ball gowns and everything.
Oh, absolutely. And just big black car with suicide doors
Yeah.
and...
You want to look like a dead ringer for Lord Snooty.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Monocle and all. Super tall top hat, like 15 inches tall.
And a cane.
That I don't need to use. I just cane children with it. Get out of my way, you little rapscallion.
And you could come up to the Northeast and we could all have a chav party. Hooray!
I'll bring my tracksuit.
Bring your gold. Make sure you bring your gold chains
And my stabbing knife.
and practice saying you slag.
Use like. I don't think I'll ever get that accent down as good as the London posh.
I think the London one's easy because you guys expect that as British people.
Yeah. I saw a really interesting picture the other day that said how Americans view British, and it was this picture of really well-dressed, tailored men standing around in like a finance office, and then it said how the rest of Europe views Britain. It was this big fat drunk dude passed out, and the police are kicking him. Is that true?
You not remember, like, seriously, about 4 years ago, Eric, you sent us a picture of what you thought my dad looks like.
Oh God!
It was because my dad's a policeman, and Eric sent us a picture of this policeman on a bike with balloons and stuff.
It says, "Stop, or I shall simulate gunfire." And I saw that, and I sent it to Dan. I go, Dan, I found your dad.
Good, that is how Europeans perceive UK.
Just
a bunch of drunks.
They're pretty much right, to be honest.
So I don't understand why the American perception is just snooty and posh.
God, I guess because any British actors that are in the films always sound really posh, don't they?
Yeah, you don't get people who sound like me, do you?
And you
Yeah,
also
like, not
mean,
so
like,
much.
the like spies and then the really
Yeah,
rich bad guys.
So here's
exactly.
just based on that picture that you showed, this is going to come off as a really bad question. But I guess it's typical form. I'm going to try to phrase it in a politically correct way. Here, it's very easy to tell if somebody is of lower intelligence, based strictly on how they speak. Is it the same way in London? I mean, the posh accent typically in our mind denotes intelligence. So over there, I think it would be just the funniest thing in the world to hear somebody of a much lower intelligence with that posh accent.
What?
The thing is,
Yes.
No, that's a northeast thing. It's not London.
no.
Oh,
But,
Jesse.
like,
Oh, God.
I'm not sure what the mile radius in London is, like how far they are between. But just in London, there are so many different accents. So, and even if you just travel slightly out of London, every 10, 20, 30 miles you come out, the accent alters slightly. So
Yeah, that's why you get people who just grunt and point.
yeah, like I'm actually not from London. I'm from the southwest, where there's all like farmer talk and stuff.
So how did
So
you...
the people I
Whoa.
went to school with would be like, "All right, there, my lover, how you doing?"
So that's probably the equivalent of the American Southern accent.
It's the equivalent of like Alabama or something.
Yeah.
You know,
Georgia.
I drive my tractor down the road.
So how did you break out of that accent?
puts one on.
I don't know, because I moved there from another part of the country. I've lived in a few different parts, so I've got a bit of a weird accent at times. Because my mum's Irish.
And you Irish as well.
Sorry?
You Irish as well.
Yeah, half.
So when your mom talks, is it just noise?
It's pure it's Northern Irish, yeah. It's
Depends
not.
if she's got a lisp.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I don't
Just
think I'd
pick
be
up
able to
accents
understand your
like
mom.
No, maybe.
Well, speaking of
She
accents,
says top of the morning, bejesus and potatoes, and that's all she says. Oh, bejesus, top of the morning to your potatoes.
where are the potato, Tom?
Do you guys celebrate St. Patrick's Day to the extent that we celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
It's an excuse to
most
get
people
drunk.
are unconscious on the floor.
So it's just a typical Tuesday evening, and
Yeah.
Yes,
It's just
yes,
an
but
excuse.
this time you've got an excuse.
see, I don't think I could understand your mom, because you told me to watch that movie Train Spotting, Tom, and
Oh yeah.
it took me till about halfway through before I could watch it without subtitles.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
To be fair, Scottish is harder, a lot harder.
Well,
than...
mainly for Begbie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, he's a true Scot, but
The whole book is written in non-standardized English. It's written in Scottish dialect.
Jesus.
It took me 20 minutes to finish the first chapter, and then I was fine.
Huh.
But
But
accents change crazy in Scotland too. Like you can for sure tell where someone's from.
Glasgow is the worst.
Are they just the really angry sounding ones?
It's just,
Yeah.
they are just noise, Eric. Seriously.
It's really
Seriously, I
hard.
spoke to somebody from there before and I just could not get anything. Not a sausage.
We were in Inverness, I think, and there's this fisherman who it was not happening. Like it was brutal. It was like a Newfie accent, but worse. It was.
What's a
couldn't-
Newfie?
wasn't
Newfoundland?
Yeah.
Oh, I feel
Where
like that's a
it's like-
derogatory way of saying it.
Jesse
No,
was
they
probably
like
either
it.
asking if you have shortbread, shouting swear words at you, or was just
Could
drunk.
have been.
So,
Fortunately,
Newfie's kind of like our Alabama, I think, in terms of accents.
Newfoundland is?
Yeah.
But did you enjoy the film Trainspotting?
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, that's good.
Of
I'm
course,
glad.
not the part where it's like, all right, I'm going to sit down and eat lunch, and then he goes and he dives into a toilet full of his own shit to find an anal suppository. Like, oh, well, good thing I'm having
I thought that
chili.
would be your favourite bit, Eric.
Oh, it was,
Yeah.
naturally, but not while I'm
Literally.
eating.
The reason I
Rewind that,
told Eric
Christy,
to
we're
watch...
watching it again.
Look at how he really gets in there.
The reason I told Eric to watch that was because last week you were drawing comparisons to when you were taking your high-level painkillers to your ass falling through a chair.
Oh, and when he fell through
And-
the floor on that red rug.
Yeah, it's
Knew
really
exactly
nicely shot.
what he felt like.
Yeah,
They nailed it.
exactly.
But yeah, I got my shoulder upgraded this week.
You're part robot now.
I am, and boy, let me tell you what,
I wish I
feel
could upgrade.
great. I was actually up and using my arm the day of surgery. It was awesome.
Ooh.
That's crazy.
But I showed Tom the incision that I have. It's pretty huge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you want to see it?
Easy.
Yes.
Yes.
But
I don't have a shirt on it. Just telling you that, so you got to contain yourself.
Whoa.
Dan,
That's why I didn't want to see it in case I got too excited.
It is pretty easy. I mean, the bloodstained bandage is quite hot.
but did you say that you'll be able to see it through your skin
Yeah.
after they've taken the stitches out and stuff?
Yeah.
That was BB-8.
Was that R2D2?
BB-8.
Oh yeah, wrong droid.
Poor R2, he's got some
Wasn't
ground to
the
make
droid
up
you're
now,
looking
doesn't
for?
he?
No, I love their, like, BB-8 is so chill with R2. He's like, let's be best friends. And he just looks up to him so much. It's so cute.
Yeah, but R2 will probably be like, get away from me, you little shit. Piss off.
Did you see it, Jess?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not expect it to be that big.
No, it's about 7 inches right across my collarbone, 6 inches. And when he got in there, the break was actually worse than he thought. The front part of the bone had sheared off, so he had to put in 2 more screws in the front and then a plate across the top with 8 screws.
Ow.
How long were you under for?
About an hour and a half.
Ooh.
But I woke up feeling like $1,000,000. The last time I came out of my hip surgery, I felt like junk for 3 days.
Shit.
And I think it's mainly because my body went, hey, we're back together again. But I've got this really cool, like, 8-inch radius around the incision that's completely numb. I can't feel anything. So when I was taking the bandage off, I was like, I'm sure I'm touching myself, but I could only feel it from my finger that I was touching it with. So I'm like, Christy, come over here and touch this. Like, I can't feel anything. But
Did they give you a nerve block?
yeah, and that'll wear off. But now that that's starting to wear off, I'm becoming acutely aware that there is hardware in my shoulder. So as I move around, I can feel it. It's just, it's odd.
Will that go away?
Are you
eventually, or
gradually
will you just
becoming a
get used to it?
cyborg?
I'm planning on it. Like, I just want to be, I'm slowly replacing my skeleton one bone at a time.
Nice.
Excellent.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll go away. It's just a part of my life for now. I can have the hardware removed if I want to, but I don't really
Wouldn't
feel
that
like going
go-
through surgery to have it taken out.
And then you
okay.
wouldn't be a cyborg anymore,
I
so...
know. And I couldn't take my shirt off and go, hey, look at this, and like pull my shoulders back and stick a plate out of my shoulder.
That's awful.
You know you're jealous.
So jealous, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go break my collarbone. And then my buddy,
Go
of course,
fall ass over tit off an electric unicycle.
the guy that I was riding with comes over yesterday. He called me up and said, hey, I'm going to come over and hang out. All right, whatever. So he shows up, and he went to the store, because he was the one that was filming me when I fell, and that kind of struck something with him. He's like, maybe I need a little bit more safety gear. So instead of just going and buying maybe an extra set of pads or like some thick pants, he goes to this BMX or this dirt bike shop and spends $500 on full body armor that BMX riders wear, including $350 BMX boots. And he's got this chest plate with this spine protector and this huge helmet and this this jacket with arm pads on. I mean, it looks like the guy could go into war. And
so he's going to wear this in the Arizona heat,
riding an electric unicycle.
Wow, he is going to be sweating his tits off.
But then he came over and he's like, dude, film me riding this. Like, you do realize this is the worst thing you could have done to me today. Because all I want to do is ride.
You'll have to get yourself a hazmat suit and then you can go.
I figured like football shoulder pads might save me next time.
Yeah, but knowing you'd probably fall on your face.
Well, it's a good thing I didn't this time. Preserve this beauty.
Yeah, man.
Like, is it like intense? Like
that is.
You go to.
Go ahead.
I just put a picture. Is that similar to what it is?
Almost exactly, except it's not a t-shirt. It's like a zip-up style. But yeah, in the back, there's that big spinal protector, and his has stuff that comes along the sides of his ribs.
Didn't I see that on Gears of War once?
It looks like the exoskeleton from Isaac in Dead Space is what his looks like. The dude went way overboard.
I don't even wear that much
He's equipped
stuff.
if you get attacked by aliens.
Yeah. But, you know.
I don't think. Okay.
I mean, he doesn't want to break a collarbone, so he's not going to now. And he made sure that the one that he has plates that go across the front of the shoulders, too. So he's like, I feel like if I were to fall like you did, this would keep my collarbone in. Like, all right, yeah. Got a point.
At least he learned something from your idiocy, Eric.
True. Not much can be gained from that, so at least something was.
Yeah.
But yeah,
amazing.
I mean, it is what it is. I'm using my arm again already, so it's better than 6 weeks of hanging out in a sling.
Oh, you don't have to sling anymore?
No, I was using my arm the day of surgery.
So the claw's gone.
The claw is
the
gone.
gaming claw.
Yeah, I'm supposed to still wear the sling when I'm out in public to gently remind people, like, hey, be gentle. But I think my calm demeanor indicates that as it is.
So if you don't have a sling on, do people just walk into you and just push you over and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Can you drive?
Okay.
No, I can't drive for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good thing I
That's
have
a
Are you
shoes.
going to wear the sling to the PGA thing? Because I feel like you should.
I'm going to, and then I'm going to have a Bloody Mary in it.
Yeah.
Narcotics and Bloody Marys.
It's so weird that you guys don't have Caesars.
Oh, I know. I had a Caesar up there, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe I can order one.
Caesars?
I feel like the PGA would know what it is.
Yeah, it's if they have Clamato juice or not.
So that's what I was asking you guys, if you actually have Chelada. Have you ever heard of Chelada?
No.
Is that a drink?
It is Bud Light with Clamato in it, which is clam juice and tomato juice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of this
Clam
crazy
juice.
contraption.
Sounds like toilet.
Well, it's like...
it
What
is.
the hell? As in juice from a clam?
Yeah, they squeeze the
Well-
clam.
Why?
Because it's really good.
It's disgusting. Clamato juice
It's
is
so much
disgusting.
better than tomato juice. Because tomato juice is so thick. And like Clamato juice is...
You do realize tomato
Not.
juice,
You
Clamato
guys
juice.
just squeeze fish and drink them.
Yeah. We say sorry after, so it's fine.
Sorry, fish. We don't squeeze them
But
enough
there's
to kill
actually
them.
clams on the package too, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, Chelada's not good, guys. And they just sell cans of it here.
Really?
Yeah, Bud Light.
I feel like that's
Chelada.
like a hair of the dog type of... Because Clamato is... Like a Caesar is the best thing to have as like a brunch drink.
I mean, it looks like... Here, this is a picture of Bud Light Clamato Chelada. It's disgusting. It looks like you're drinking rusty water. And it tastes
Yeah,
like
I've
an
heard
old
of people
anus.
doing that, but I didn't know there was a name for it.
We used to make beer jays where we'd put Bud Light and orange juice. Breakfast of champions right there. When the girls would go out and they'd get their mimosa. We're like, we're just going to pour some beer in this.
That's so funny. That's hilarious, actually. I'm just going to put beer. But yeah, the one Caesar picture that you put with like, there are so many Caesars, like bars that do crazy Caesars.
Yeah, like the one with a pizza on it.
Yeah. Or like burgers on it. It's insane.
Well, speaking of insane, we should probably talk about some video games.
Wow, that
Good
was a
segue.
tenuous link.
Yeah, okay.
Because the game that we played this week was insane to get through. There it is.
I like it.
Thanks, Eric. That was beautiful, man.
Well, you gave me shit.
Absolutely seamless.
Actually, before we get into that, I want to ask Daniel.
Eric,
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Now that I'm
Good.
put back together. Tom,
Good.
how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. We've done this.
Oh,
Painkillers.
back to Dan.
God, Tom's taken no shit these past 2 weeks, man.
Tom, you need to go back to your old job.
Yeah, you're right.
Turned into a stress head businessman. Jesus Christ!
Mr. Company over there.
Last week he took
yeah?
he took offence to Vikings.
Oh, that's true. God, bloody Vikings.
They are like not great people.
Dan,
Eric,
hi.
how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
What do you think of Final Fantasy 15 demo that I so generously let you play?
Oh, thank you so much. That game is the tits.
Like, both tits at once.
Like so many tits.
Yeah. It is
Like
just
all of the.
it is just a digital representation of tits.
It's nothing like more. God is good.
I caught about 3 seconds of that because of your shit internet.
We're like being taken over by robots because we have robot collarbone over there and robotic voice Dan.
I was actually just speaking normally. That was just what happened.
So that's the secret to the Geordie accent, is just sound like a robot.
Yeah, speak. Am I okay now? Can we hear me?
No, you actually got worse.
You were fine.
Feck's sake.
There it goes. Now it's better.
Move on.
No.
Just go away.
Do you like it?
I do like it, yes.
Okay. That's all you're going to say about it for Mr. Final Fantasy over there?
No, I did say
It
more,
was
but
good.
apparently I turned into a robot.
Well, say it again.
I said it's nothing like Final Fantasy of the others, but I really like it.
Profound.
I only heard like 3 words.
Just shut up.
I'm not a good liar.
No, you're really not. It was quite a
Jeeves,
Herculean
tell
effort.
Jess to piss off.
It was a Herculean effort to get Dan to figure out how to play this thing.
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
It was because I didn't want to go on your account because I knew if you wanted to play on games, then it would kick me out.
Seeing as how we're never on at the same time, it was okay.
Well, it's funny because I was about to beat the behemoth, and then you came along and locked me out.
Well, I had to eject Tinkerbell from the PS4. And as such, it signed me in.
Yeah, but I really, really, really want the full game now because it's so good.
Apparently, we're going to be getting it this year.
Apparently, but the release date has been announced in March, I think.
Yeah, so the release date of the release date is March.
Yeah.
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 Seeing is believing.
Yeah. So let's. This week we were playing the apparent Double Fine classic of Grim Fandango. Most of us, I think, were tackling the remastered edition, which is basically just a prettied up version with controller support
And some pretty cool commentary from the makers.
Oh, I didn't
Did you see that?
play with the commentary.
Yeah,
I did see it, but I haven't played the game before, so I didn't want to listen to it.
Yeah.
So,
So who recommended this game? I think it was Tom.
It was.
First of all, let's go through how far did everybody make it?
Do we really want to start there? I mean, like...
I feel like we need to, because that's usually where we start. That way, people going forward have a basis of, oh, he played this much of the game, so his opinion, or hers, if we want to be PC about this, but I'm just prefacing what I already know, his opinion is more valid because he played more of it.
I think Jess should go last, because then she can build up to telling us that she totally finished it.
Thomas, how far did you make it?
There
are 3 years.
Sadly...
4 years.
Yeah, sadly, I made it somewhere towards the end of year 1.
Oh, God.
I know.
Eric, just remove these two from the call, will you, for God's sake?
Daniel.
Eric Peterson.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi. Hi. Hi.
How far did you make it, Daniel?
I finished it.
Let me ask you a follow-up question to that.
Ooh.
Who was your driving force behind finishing it?
Jess.
The President of the United States.
Oh, so close.
Wrong.
Dot Cotton from EastEnders.
What? What did you say?
English reference, don't worry.
Well, I shall not worry.
Mr. Bean.
I finished it. First, I might add.
Really?
Sister?
Yes. Now,
really?
the moment, the exact second of the show, of this year that we've been waiting for. Jessica, how far did you make it?
Halfway.
Bullshit.
Actually, I am just starting year 3. No, the third part of it.
So
yeah,
year 3.
I just turned on. Yeah, year 3.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
I'm on a ship with flames on the thing.
Okay, so I believe her. Thomas.
Unfortunately, Jess, that does not count towards your 100% rating for this year.
Well,
So you have therefore...
Okay, I'm good with that. Doesn't count. Doesn't count. You heard it first.
No, you can't
I
stop
said
a
towards,
sentence where you want it to
You can't
end.
take the words you want from a sentence and take it into something else.
I believe this is Tom's first shit-colored star.
I think it might be.
Oh, hang it with pride, my friend.
I'm disappointed in myself because this was my choice.
You know what? I'm disappointed too because I had shoulder surgery this week and I still beat it.
Yeah, because you didn't have anything else to do.
I couldn't use my arm for the first 4 days of the week.
So you played it, you started on Friday?
No, I started when we first said we were going to play it. And
okay.
then I started... Actually, I played a majority of it the day I had surgery.
So it would be fair to say that your surgery did not get in the way of completing Grim Fandango.
It actually aided in me finishing it.
Yeah, okay.
So that's what we thought.
So every week we need to schedule a surgery.
Yeah, I need to break something.
Just breaking bones every week to finish a game. Sorry, guys, I'm out for... what is it this time? Oh, it's my arm again.
My bones or my contract of employment?
Both.
Break fingers, because then it's
Both.
a little bit...
I mean, you can get through fifth of the year right there.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Oh, man. Well done, Jess.
I'm proud of
You're
you,
not-
Jess.
Thanks. I'm irritated
I'm
that I
extremely
didn't.
disappointed in Tom mind.
Oh,
You know what
please.
the disappointing part is, Jess? The last 2 years are super short.
Really?
Yeah, they're real short. Like, you probably could have finished it in an hour and a half.
I was so tired last night that I just wanted to go to bed, and I was like, fuck it, I don't care.
So, who
Thanks,
would be
Jess.
best equipped to talk to us about what this game is as a whole?
Well,
Robot
tradition
Jam.
would dictate that it is Yomus, because it's his game.
Yeah, but Yamas, did you play enough to actually know what you're playing?
well, yeah, I did. Like, being basically Grim Fandango, you are a travel agent named Manny, and you work for the Department of Death in the Land of Death. And Manny sells travel packages.
That's the important part that he's dead.
He was getting there.
I'm getting there.
I think it implies if you're in the land of the dead, you are dead.
Not necessarily.
Yeah. So he sells travel packages to the dead on their way to the underworld,
Heaven or hell.
Yeah.
So either the overworld or the underworld.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much the general synopsis.
It's even worse than mine.
That was.
But that is how it starts.
So is that about how far you really made it?
I made it to. I got really stuck.
Did you at least get the loaf of bread?
Yeah, I made it past there.
Okay. So expanding upon that, Manny is a struggling, you forgot, sales agent. Because these people come in, and depending on their status in life when they die, they can purchase different paths across the land of the dead. So they enter into this town, and they have to make it across the land of the dead to make it to the train that takes them to either heaven or hell. And the sales agents are there responsible for selling them either a ticket on a train or a boat, or giving them something as simple as a walking cane because, hey, put on your boots, you're walking. And
which has a compass on it.
Correct. And Manny is always, for some reason, stuck getting people that don't have money to purchase tickets, where his counterpart salesman is always selling people tickets on the end train that takes them straight to the end, and he gets a big fat commission off it. But Manny is here working off his time. So apparently he must have been really shitty in life, and he's here working off some sort of limbo status to earn his ticket to the underworld or the overworld. And Manny discovers this huge plot of cover-up where people are stealing these tickets, and he's on this mission to figure it out and break the case. That's Grim Fandango, Tom.
I feel like his motivation more like initially is just trying to get the girl versus he doesn't really care about the mission as much.
Oh yeah, Meche. He wants to go after this bony girl, and presumably...
Right. This is why I take issue with this, because they're skeletons, right? So what are they going to do?
Bone each other?
Bone.
Literally.
Yeah.
There's so many more possibilities.
And how are they talking? They don't have... Okay, we're not going to get into that. It's a game. Suspension of disbelief. They don't have a throat. So
Manny gets pretty shitty clients, doesn't he?
Well, he gets one client in the whole of the game, and then steals his second one, and then leaves. So the game as a whole used to, I believe, the PC version was a point and click.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the PS4 version, you could actually use a controller and maneuver around. This is a very standard adventure game of its day. We recently played through Beneath the Steel Sky, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. What other game like this did we just play as well?
I think it was just those two.
Yeah.
I thought there was a third one. But
can we please stop playing adventure games?
I'm going to agree. I'm going to agree with Daniel, because this one, I just want to get my overall assessment out of the way first before we actually delve into the game and talk a little bit about it. But I was really expecting to jump into this and super enjoy it, basically because it was Double Fine. Like, yeah, Tim Schafer made this. It's going to be great. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be really well thought out. It's going to be a blast to play, and only one of those was true, the fact that it was funny. The game itself was a chore to play. It was an absolute downright chore that I did not enjoy playing.
I'm with you totally on this, Eric, because the puzzles in this game are I know adventure games have a thing where they have obscure puzzles that you have to work out, but I've never played one to this extent where the puzzles are so out there that you just never ever think of doing it without a guide. It's
Because I
impossible.
don't even think they're like legit puzzles in a sense. Because there are no clues. Sometimes there are no indicators really.
Yeah.
It's just trial and error.
I mean, let me, for example, tell you about one of the puzzles. In one of the puzzles, you have to go into a club to find a turkey baster, to then put it in some dirty water, take this dirty water to a tattoo parlor and spike somebody's drink to get his dog tags after he collapses, so you can put his dog tags on a flowery corpse so that they think that he's dead, so then in turn you can take his place on a ship.
And there's no indication that these items on the map can be taken. There's one later where a guy vomits over some dominoes, and you have to freeze it, but you don't know that you have to freeze it. So you walk back to this tattoo parlor, and hidden on the wall around the corner is a first aid kit that just looks like part of the pre-rendered background. But if you check it, there's some liquid nitrogen in there. And you just walk back and pour it on the vomit, and it freezes. It's just the extent to which you have to go to find things is ridiculous. It almost is where whatever room you're in, you touch and look at everything, and it just becomes a chore. And I'll be the first to say that 10 minutes into this game, I pulled up a guide, and I never did another ounce of it without it. And even still, with the guide, it was super difficult.
Yeah, the guides are terrible. Really bad.
Well, I think it's really hard to like accurately write what needs to be done because it's that complex.
I'm going to do it. Prove you wrong.
I got so stuck that a guide couldn't even help.
Where were you stuck?
There's certain triggers in this game as well which don't come up unless you do everything that is required.
Yeah.
Like in year 2, there was a section where they have to lock a waiter in a like pantry, and he just would not show up because I hadn't went and talked to Manny's friend Glottis, who had to come to the club before he went in the room. And I was, how are you meant to know this? And I wasted about an hour on that, just wandering back and forth, because no guides mentioned it anywhere. It's just so annoying. But I really, really, really wanted to like this game because it is very funny, very, very well written as usual, but it's such a chore. It just can't enjoy it.
Well, you actually got stuck in year 3 and said you were done, and then I made it past that part and kind of just edged you to finish it out because it wasn't that long.
Yeah, well, year 3 is shorter than the others, and I knew exactly what steps to take, so it wasn't as bad. But if you're playing the PS4 remastered version, there's actually a game-breaking glitch in year 3 where basically there's a section where the camera will pan to this top-down view of the island where you are, and you can move a crane around it. But for some reason, it gets stuck on that screen, and you can't do anything. You can't move. You can't get out of the crane, anything like that, and it just completely locks up. I mean, because this does a chapter, and I had to restart.
Yeah, and I
Really
blazed right through
ass.
that. I didn't have any issues with that part.
It seems to be a common issue. Quite a few people online have said about it, so one to watch out for.
Huh.
I played on Android.
How was that?
Wow.
I didn't mind it because it was point and click. That like really there wasn't a huge amount. Like I hate when they put a controller on the screen. You have to use that. So it wasn't terrible. Some of the time I was irritated because the items looked so small that it was a little challenging to like. I would have to tap on something like 6 times to catch that one little piece that would bring up the
Jess,
menu.
that's true on any version of it.
Yeah, because it's not
okay.
like standard games now where the items that you can pick up twinkle or they're a different color. I mean, everything in this game is the same rendering, and it's
or even when we played Beneath a Steel Sky, some things would twinkle a little bit to pick up. You had these little helpers as to something really stuck out from the pre-rendered background, but this was very fixed.
I understand why they would want to do that because they're trying to create a more immersive world where things it doesn't feel like you're playing a game. But at that point, to Dan's point, there's no clues about what you're supposed to be doing at any given time. Usually, there's a story cue of, hey, when you're talking about the turkey baster incident. At no point are you ever given an indication other than, hey, here's a boat that you need to get on at some point. You need to figure out how to get on it. You know that there's going to be a galley master who might potentially be late or not show up. That is the only clue that you get. You are therefore left to your own devices to figure this out, and they don't tell you anything at all how to do this. So the story contexts are very few and far, if at all.
Like, in hindsight, they do, but they're very challenging to figure out. Like, when you first walk into the kitchen, you see the one bartender add the hookah water to the drinks, and he serves it to the one guy, and the one guy passes out.
Huh.
But it's such a very far...
Yeah, you do, but you wouldn't think to use a turkey baster to then use that on a guy, though, would
No.
you? I mean,
because he says, like, oh, I don't have anything to put this in, so I was searching for a cup for, like, ever, and couldn't find anything.
So the other puzzle, too, that drove me nuts, for example, of how ridiculously difficult this was, and certain items that you need to pick up so far in advance. At the very beginning of the game, you can walk out of the DOD, go out, and there's a party going on, and the only person you can interact with is a clown making balloons. And you have 5 different things you can choose from him. You can get Albert Einstein, a dead worm, a cat, a giraffe, and
a dodo.
Just something else dumb. And at that point,
no, you can get Robert Frost the poet.
That's who it was. I'm sorry, not Albert Einstein, Robert Frost. But you can take as many of these as you want. And this is the very beginning of the game, and there's a puzzle that relies on this a few hours later, where you need to have taken a cat and 2 dead worms, and the dead worms are just empty balloons. So your first client, you end up packing him in a coffin with this gel that for some reason is super explosive, and it's a stupid gel. You need to fill these 2 worm balloons up with this gel and then put them in different locations to jam the system to get a message sent to your room. But then later, you have to still have that cat balloon to go up on the roof, put it in a bowl along with a piece of bread, crumble the bread up over the cat balloon so these bone pigeons will come and eat the bread and pop the balloon and scare away.
Yeah. But at this point, did you try the Robert Frost balloon on the pigeons?
No, what'd they do?
No.
It's actually a trophy on the PS4 version. He goes, "Run away, you pigeons! It's Robert Frost!"
That's hilarious.
Oh, it was so good. That's what I loved about this game. When I hated the actual gameplay, but it's just so funny at times. The writing.
They had some really fun trophies that would just randomly pop up.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a trophy for playing the entire game with old-style tank controls, and it's a trophy that Tim Schafer insisted be in the game.
Really?
No way am I doing
Because
that
on the controller,
ever.
when you play with the controller, the movement is all camera-based. So up is up, down is down, left is right. But tank controls, forward is always forward. Like the old Resident Evil style.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like if I started it that way, I probably could have made it through.
It was hard enough, Eric, as it was.
But you're talking about when you're having to jam the system to get him those messages sent to in his office.
Yeah.
The bit I was stuck in was, at the start of the game, you can pick up a deck of cards in Manny's office.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just missed those entirely, and I just carried on with the first few tasks in the game, and then when I eventually found those cards, apparently you have to get them punched to then. And I
how do you figure
where
that
to
out?
get them punched.
Well, because he does say, like, if you examine the cards, oh, I should mark these. And then you're somehow to make the connection between the hole punch on the desk, which I didn't even know was a thing, and hole punch the card.
But I tried the hole punch and I didn't make the connection, so...
So how did you guys do it?
Walkthroughs.
Walkthrough.
The walkthrough just told me to punch the
walkthroughs
card somewhere,
are
but I
terrible.
couldn't find where to do it.
I found that there were 2 somewhat not shitty guides. There's one from grimfandango.net and then another one from Eurogamer, and I would read those 2 concurrently to see if anything crossed over.
But again,
I think I
they
used
both
the
kept missing
Eurogamer.
things out.
Yeah. What's that, Jess?
I used the Eurogamer, and at one point I had to watch a video. What was it for?
Yeah, YouTube can be pretty useful.
I think it was the stupid lift one where you were with the forklift and you had to get it in between the floors.
That was stupid.
Yeah.
It's just, I think as a whole, the game, they said, the puzzles themselves were actually really cool. I don't want to discredit that. It was intriguing, it was fun, but figuring it out actually detracted from 90% of the enjoyment of the game. Because it was just like, okay, that's cool, but it was really dumb how you have to figure that out.
I think a lot of people have got nostalgia goggles on for these, haven't it?
I think so.
Because when you guys were at the cat, sorry,
no, go ahead.
I was going to say Cat Track when you had to create a ticket. Jesus. How did you get those numbers?
I don't know, but the guides told me, but I don't know where you get them from.
Neither do I.
I tried looking because I had that same thought too. I tried looking on because apparently you have a photo, and I was going to see if there was a photo that like there were the numbers on that photo, but I was pissing about that to Dan too because the way you interact with things is you press triangle and he goes into his vest pocket and all the items that you have are in there, and then you can press X to use them in the real world, and he pulls up this ticket machine and you have to print out a ticket. So I put in Tuesday or race 2 Tuesday week 6, and then I went up to the button. So I moved the cursor up to the button to print it and hit X, which is what you should do to activate it. And he goes, I'm going to make a lot of money with this, and then puts it away. Like, okay, what the hell do I do? So I probably spent...
If only you had somebody via email who told you how to do it before this.
I know, that would have been really helpful.
Yeah, that happened, by the way. He just completely ignored it.
So what it comes down to is you have to go up to that print button, and instead of hitting X, you have to hit up on the D-pad to make it print.
Oh my god.
There's
I
another
could
bit
just
like
click
this.
the print button.
Yeah, well, yours is a touchscreen, so naturally that would make sense.
Yeah, so that was a lot easier. I didn't have to deal with that issue.
Yeah, there's another bit like this, Eric, during the final year where you have to pick up a bone grinder, and for some reason he won't pick it up. He'll just keep trying to use it, and you have to press circle to pick it up, even though this is never used throughout the entire game.
Yeah, like you're going to back away from it, because you take a guy's arm, you put it in there, and then he'll just sit and grind it up.
Because I thought it glitched out again, and I was like, what's happened here? It's just so annoying.
The characters in this game, I think, were actually really intriguing. I enjoyed going through the conversation and all the different dialogue pieces with all of them. Glottis, I guess I don't know where I stand on Glottis. Apparently he is a demon who is cursed to live on this planet, so he's not part of the living world. He is your chauffeur and your mechanic from the land of the dead, who is just this super gearhead who ends up modifying his car to just absurd extremes to help you get across the land of the dead. He's funny. I guess
the Bone Wagon.
The Bone Wagon, that's what it was called.
I really like Glottis. I thought he was really funny.
Well,
it's when you walk past him and he goes...
I thought it was cool how later in the game you come across more demons like him, but they're really small, and they're like, oh, we've never seen one of our kind this big before. So, you do uncover more Glottises in the game.
Let's welcome the candidates for the Republic.
Oh, watching soccer, Tom?
Soccer?
I hear a TV.
Oh, I think that's police sirens as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Said something about Republicans, and then there was police sirens.
Sounds about right.
What's the...
Eric,
Go ahead.
I have to talk to you about what I thought is the funniest bit of this game, which is during year 2 when Manny can do poetry. And I just thought this was the funniest thing in the entire game. Jess, did you do this?
At the stand, like, you could go open mic and do poetry?
Yes. It was so funny.
I didn't do that. That's hilarious.
She can do, you just stand there and it gives you like he'll give you about 4 dialogue options. You can just keep selecting them and just saying stupider and stupider things. And like he'll just stand there and go explosions or Scooby Doo.
Mine, the one that I got up there and did was just, it was so dumb. It was just like, laborious, clam bake, confuse yourselves, the phone is for you. And then everybody boos you off stage.
But the best part about this is if you go and talk to the woman who usually does the poetry, she'll then get up on the stage and copy exactly what you said.
And everybody will
Oh,
applaud
really?
her.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Did her
so
prophecy poem ever come true?
Prophecy poem?
Like she had this one poem where like it all went dark and she was like in this light and said something about mangoes, you'll find me. I'm gonna look this up so I don't sound like an idiot.
Too late.
Damn it.
I don't remember that poem.
She said Grim Fandango in the poem.
That's where they got the title from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we should probably talk a little bit about like the actual story of what happens here, because the story itself it's kind of cool. As far as my understanding, it's not very easy to discern. But as far as my understanding, Manny gets fed up by always getting screwed over by getting the crappy customers, whereas his other salesman that he works with always gets the really high-end customers. This girl, well, Manny gets fed up. He wants to steal one, so he jams the system because he feels like all of the good clients are just being funneled over to I don't remember the other guy's name. So he jams the system.
Domino.
Domino? Okay. So he jams the system, steals one of Domino's clients, goes, finds out where she's dead, picks up her body, brings her back to his office, and what really sets off this chain of events is something that I don't know was ever really explained. She just kind of disappears, and Manny wants to go find her, so he sets off...
Because she thought that Manny was insulting her, and was like, fine, I really am a bad person. I'm just going to leave instead of waiting here and listening to what actually can be done for me.
Okay. I guess I didn't pay attention to that then.
I thought the plot got a bit lost, to be honest.
And then it tried to find itself in the last 4 minutes.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It tried very desperately to just tie all these loose ends together in the last 4 minutes, and it really just... It turned into this really weird mob-style story where you uncover this plot of embezzling these tickets, and half of them are counterfeit, and he's planning on using them all himself. And there's this mob guy who snuffs people out with this gun that sprouts them. So if he shoots them with this gun, they turn into flowers, and he's got this big greenhouse with all these flowers around him, and you learn that they're dead bodies of people that he's had to shush up. Quite honestly, I don't understand the story, other than you're traveling across the land of the dead to try to figure out what's happening to all of these tickets on the double N and why people aren't getting them. And you come across all these really goofy locations in the process. That's my understanding of the story.
Huh.
Did you get anything else from it, Dan?
Not really. It's just... No, it's not really cohesive, I don't think. It's cool. It's like I like the characters, I like the dialogue, but it just kind of descends and then, like you say, kind of picks up towards the end.
Well, it's goofy because it takes Manny 4 years to get across the land of the dead, and he stops in this after he gets shipwrecked. No, not after he gets shipwrecked.
But Eric, I don't know if I like the time jumps because it kind of misses out what happens. And
well, yeah, what I was going to say is that suddenly he's the owner of this really fancy VIP club called the Rubacava, and he's in this business spat with a local casino, and it's like, how did we get here?
I can see why it's done as like the storyline concept, but I would rather play it and see what happens rather than, I don't know.
I did like the snapshot aspect just because you could see that he was getting like more confident and was like, if that Manny had gone back, he probably would have been able to be the top salesperson if there wasn't actually a raid going on. But like, you know what I mean? Like, he gets a little bit more confident. He gets a little bit more
So I
aggressive.
guess the other thing that we're missing out, though, is that he becomes a secret agent within this group of revolutionaries. So at the beginning of the game, he gets recruited by a guy named Salvador. And you come to find out that Domino's secretary is also she's also a revolutionary, correct?
She's not a secretary. She makes that very clear.
She's his administrative assistant.
Can't remember what she says yet.
But yeah, she gets really pissed off because you constantly ask her to do things for you.
Yeah.
Did anybody else get the implication that that was Manny's wife in the start? I did.
I got it. I thought so because of the way they jabbed each other, but
He just flirts with everyone, which is hilarious.
Kept calling her honey and stuff, so I was like, is that his wife?
but it was done in like a 40s noir style, so.
He says, "In my heart, you'll always be my secretary."
Yeah.
Share love.
So she's actually part of the revolutionaries as well, and she, I think, is the one who tips Manny off to this and sends him on his way. But basically, the only reason they need Manny in the revolutionaries is because they need access to the DoD computer system, and they scan your teeth. So Manny goes and he gets Domino's mouth guard, fills it with oil, makes an impression of his teeth, gives it to them. We're like, oh, okay, well, I guess we got what we need. You can go on your way now. And like you don't really see the revolutionaries again until the 4th year.
It is kind of hilarious with the whole teeth thing because it makes sense. Like,
It does.
Without the fingerprints, they don't have fingerprints. I thought that was really cute.
What was Manny's response? Because Lola, I think her name is Lola, she says, yeah, they scan your teeth. Didn't you ever notice your computer scanning your teeth every time you signed in and think it was weird? He makes some stupid comment about it. I thought they were just concerned about my dental hygiene. Or the writing is super clever. I really enjoyed it. It is top double fine form here.
Yeah.
So, jumping kind of back and forth here, but what happens? Do they fall in love at the end? Does that...
So you get to year 2 at the Rubicava, and you go down to this boat, and there's the dock master there, and he says, yeah, we don't have any spots available on this, and so on and so forth. So you spend your time in the Rubicava, and then you come to find out somebody tells you that, hey, I saw a lady leave on this ship, but she was not alone. So
that's what's-his-face's wife, though. The original caretakers. Right?
But they misconstrue her for being Meche.
Oh, okay.
But then there's a point where, I think it's at the end of year 2, where Manny sees Meche getting onto the boat, and then she knocks him off with a bottle of liquor. He falls into the ocean, the shipmaster. Maybe that's at the beginning of year 2. I don't remember all the pieces of it, but he sees her leaving, and she knocks him into the ocean. And that's where he has to spend time here at the Rubicava, get shit figured out, and then he continues on his way. I do have to say that probably the most ridiculous puzzle for me was the one where he had to cut the ship in half.
Yeah.
What?
That's that about.
So I posted something, and they're like, this is the dumbest thing in the world, because initially you get into the engine room of this boat, and they just make it seem like, oh, hey, you're going to take off and leave. You're going to drive this boat away. But you have to pull the anchor up. So there's 2 anchors on either side of the boat, and there's a button on each side that you have to press, and it pulls the anchors up. I'm like, okay, great. Let's pull the boat away. So I get on the controls, and nothing happens. So I'm like, okay. So I started reading the walkthroughs, and here the walkthroughs were not clear at all. It's like, drop this side, then pull this side up, then move the boat away from the dock, then pull the other side up, and then use your side to pull the anchors in, and then pull the boat away and cut the boat in half, or like take off. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So what you have to do is you have to drop the left anchor, pull the boat away from the dock so the boat is so the left anchor is on the right side of the boat. Drop the right anchor so it hooks the left anchor. Pull it up. Use your scythe to pull the anchor so it hooks into the porthole window. And then you have to go back into the boat, press the button for the left anchor so it retracts the left anchor, and in the process cuts the boat in half, and then you use the back half of the boat to float away.
Yeah, it doesn't make much sense, does it?
No, and then you get halfway through the ocean and sink.
I like that bit when they're in the ocean.
Yeah, the dude with the little the lantern on his head was pretty cool. I liked him.
It's this guy, just at the bottom of this ocean. This guy is he's got annoyed with waiting for his ticket to the underworld, and so he just decides to walk across the land of the dead. And he's been walking in the sea forever, just going round in circles. And he's convinced he isn't going round in circles.
Yeah, he takes him along, and he's like, Manny says, "Hey, this is our ship." And he goes, "No, there's a lot of ships down here. They all start to look the same after a while." And apparently there's this pearl at the bottom of the ocean that attracts all these sailors. And Manny's like, "Hey, isn't that the pearl over there?" And the guy at the bottom of the ocean
is just like, no, it's over here.
No, that's the moon. And he goes, no, I'm pretty sure that's the pearl over there. So he takes like 15 steps over there, and he goes, "Yeah, that's the pearl." And the guy was like, "Lord Jesus, we found it."
That's hilarious.
And then this big octopus.
I like his little song as well. He sings when he's walking about.
This octopus comes up that lives in a submarine, and I liked that because it had like the top part that comes above the water where his eyeballs stick out, and this big old octopus just crams himself in a submarine. Just neat.
Why was he stealing people though? Was he taking them to the island for slave labor?
Just another piece that wasn't explained.
Okay.
But then, yeah, year 3, you get to this island at the edge of the world.
Eric, before you get to that, can we just talk about the sea monster bit? I thought that was really funny. When you're down the ocean, you're in a tiny bit of light, and it says you can't move out of this tiny bit of light because you're surrounded by sea monsters if you go into the dark.
Oh yeah.
And then the guy with the lantern shows you, and there's literally about millions of sea monsters just right next to you,
right at the edge of the light.
Yeah. So that's great. So funny.
So Jess, you just started year 3, right?
Yes.
So year 3, you're at the edge of the world, this big island, and I don't remember a lot about it other than there's that crane, to be honest, Dan.
The island is a place where, for some reason, they make light bulbs. And also there's people mining, and it's also a front for where Domino and the big bad guy are sending them tickets for some reason.
Oh yeah,
I don't know, man.
The whole point of this is to save Glottis, who was thrown over the edge, because they want to start utilizing Manny as their ploy. And Glottis gets thrown over the edge of this waterfall, and the whole point here with the crane is that you have to save Glottis. And Dan got stuck by moving the crane from one side of the map to the other, but you have to drill the bucket off one side, move the crane to the other, drop it down, have the crane, just the chain, go down a conveyor belt, then you have to reverse the conveyor belt so that it gets a little bunched up, then you have to reverse it again so it goes forward and hooks onto the anchor of the boat that Glottis is on, and then reverse it one more time to pull the whole boat up. Never do they tell you any of this stuff that you're supposed to. I didn't even know Glottis was down there. I found it on accident because I overshot the lever to reverse the conveyor belt and fell over the waterfall myself. I'm like, oh, yeah. Well, here's Glottis. Maybe I should save him.
But no, that's not what happened to me. Actually, you know that screen with the crane? It actually just on the screen with the lever, I went to go towards the lever, and then for some reason it just jumped back to the screen with the crane, and then I got stuck.
Huh.
That's why. I wasn't actually on that screen at the time.
This one did have a very obnoxious puzzle, and it was Meche gets locked into a vault, and you have to open the vault. So you get this item from a driller called the Bustall, and you have to break open the tumblers on this door, and then you have to use a joystick to line these tumblers up. But they don't tell you which way the flat end of the tumblers need to be. So I sat and fiddled with this thing for 20 minutes before I figured out the best way to do it. And then you have to jam your scythe in there to block the tumblers from moving again. but if you grab the handle that allows you to turn the tumblers, it resets everything. They don't tell you that you have to grab the handle on the left side, which is never made apparent to you whatsoever to open the door. Because it's just a standard
I actually, with
portable
this
door.
bit, I didn't realize you had to bust open the tumblers first, so I was just turning this thing.
Oh,
And-
God.
And then I was like, well, I can't even see what's happening here. So then all the guides were saying, line up the tumblers. I was like, where are the tumblers?
Yeah.
So I just did not enjoy that bit at all.
And then at the end of that one, you drop through a sewer vent and have to fight an alligator. You end up in the entrance to the 9th underworld. So you actually do make it to the end of the world where this train that takes people to the overworld or the underworld is. There's really not a whole lot that really makes sense at this point. This is where they're trying to just wrap things up. But the end of the game ends with you exacting revenge on the person who's stealing all of these tickets. And at this point, when I saw the game, I figured, I'm going to be playing as Death. This is the only point in the entire game where Manny actually has his death cloak on, and it's for like 30 seconds.
No, he has it on when you go to the land of the living at the start.
Isn't it the poisoning he has it on as well?
Yeah, that's what I'm on about.
To get
we
Meche?
didn't. I'd like the land of the living bit when, no, Eric, you go at the poison and you have to rescue that guy. You have to get that guy's body who's died.
Oh, the guy
there's
that
all
you
the-
just give the walking stick to.
Yeah.
The one that gets
No, the one you put in the coffin.
smushed into
And,
the coffin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
and then in the land of the living, there's these people with like magazine cutouts for faces and stuff.
Yeah, the graphics are so weird in that bit.
I think it's interesting, though, because that's how they would perceive the land of the living. It would be goofy to them.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah, I
actually
did like that.
if you actually talk to these people, you can scare them and get a trophy for it.
There's so
I
many
didn't know.
trophies in this game.
Yeah, but they're easy misses as well, some of them. You have to kind of exhaust all the dialogue and touch everything, and
Huh.
Yeah.
so
I don't necessarily. I feel like this is a game that the story is enough to kind of push you through it if you can deal with really antiquated puzzles.
yeah, just don't expect a smooth ride through this game. You're going to have to think about it. You're going to have to probably use a guide.
I'd
There's
be
no shame in
really-
using a guide for this. I
would
mean, I
be
don't
really
use a guide for any
curious.
game. To be
Yeah.
honest.
I'm with you. I try to make it through as much as I can.
Yeah.
Like in Chrono Trigger, the only time I used a guide was when I wanted to get all of those magic boxes. That's the only time I did it. And I feel like Chrono Trigger it's a complex enough game where a guide could be beneficial. But this one, I'd be really curious to hear from somebody who played it through the first time without a guide and made it to the end and see what they thought
Yeah.
about it.
If they are, I don't even think that's possible, so I'd be amazed if somebody has.
I think part of
Really?
the reason that I jumped to a guide so quickly is that we try to push through a full game in 6 days. So
Yeah.
for me, I just flat out didn't have the time to sit and dick with this because
Jess just agrees there because she didn't get through.
No, because I used it to kind of confirm what I was doing. Like, I was like, oh, I think I should do this. Oh, yeah, okay, I should be spending a lot of time trying to get this frickin' elevator to work properly instead of, like, wasting time on
and that's
what did I try to do and it was not, just didn't happen.
that's a huge part though is of game design. It's like when your player gets frustrated, like, am I doing this right? Like that's super poor. And I understand it's a product of the time, but this game is a testament to just how far games have actually come in terms of gameplay and approachability and
Adventure games in
directing.
general.
Yeah, directing the player as to what they're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a difference between like, hey, here's your gold star, like Ni no Kuni. Here's your gold star. Go here. See that spot? It's right here. Go there. Go. Make sure you're almost there. Get there. There it is. Right there. Right there. Do that. Press that. And then there's this.
Mm-hmm.
You got to find a happy
Yeah.
medium.
But even with something like Dark Souls, which isn't a game that holds your hand, there's still kind of a logical progression. You can work it out
Yeah,
if you go through it.
is no logical progression whatsoever. I found
No.
no logic in this game.
I
And
quite like the way. Go on.
I was going to say, to Jess's point, though, she picked it out a little better than we did, but you have to really be looking for it. And it's still, at that point,
Yeah.
kind of a stretch. What were you going to say, though, Tom? I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
No problem.
Yeah, sorry, what? Sorry.
Point.
One of the nice balances is when like a game like a around, not sure where to go, and then the little hint thing pops up, and the camera will just pan to where you're supposed to go.
See, I don't know if I like that.
I quite like it if I'm really stuck. It's nice to quickly have an idea of where I'm supposed to go, but maybe that's somewhere of a balance in the middle, but maybe it still holds your hand a bit too much.
I think something that I would rather prefer would be an internal dialogue of of your character, perhaps mentioning something like, "Oh, hey, didn't this person say this?" Or maybe I should be doing this, or give some sort of vocal cue instead of the camera pointing and an object blinking. I think that would be a better way to approach it.
Well, either way, it needs a hint system.
Yes.
So,
I mean, at least in like I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, there was that journal that would give you a hint as to what to do.
True.
Not that I noticed, but yeah.
No, I didn't notice either. I'm like, that's a book. I'm not going to read.
Do you guys, when there's loads of stuff to read on a game, like in, say, a codex or something, do you guys read it? Because I can't be bothered. I just want to start playing.
It depends on what the game is. Like, for example, in Final Fantasy Explorers, there's a huge notebook that you can go through and read about items and characters. I don't give a shit about that. But generally, if it's a game where there's like backstory on locations and worlds and I'm really engaged in it, I'll read some of it.
Yeah,
it annoys me though when the entries aren't red.
I just go in and mark them all as red.
Sometimes you can't.
No, I have to read.
So, would you read all the books from Skyrim, Jess?
No, because those aren't the same thing.
But those...
I would read the important ones, like the Dragonborn one,
But if you actually read those books in the game, they expand so much on the universe.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you guys read the notes in The Last of Us?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Yes. They were really good.
Yeah, those aren't that long. But sometimes, like with really long tutorial things as well, I get bored halfway through and I was like, it's not going in my head.
Usually what I'll do when something like that pops up is I'll click through to see how many pages it is, and if I deem it to be too many, I'm like, well, I guess I'm not going to get this information.
Like the Mass Effect games are really bad with this. They just throw information at you like crazy.
Yeah,
like
they're just really bad in general.
Yeah, we know how you feel, Eric. Calm down. It's fine.
I'm not uppity yet. I'll get there.
So overall, everyone, would you replay Grim Fandango?
Not a chance.
Me either.
I think I want to finish it.
I would agree. Finish it just to say you finished it. This is one of those games that I think is in that gaming pantheon of like, yes, you should have played this because it is kind of a stepping stone for adventure/puzzle games, and I don't want to discredit it for that. I think it's had I played it in its time, I probably would have enjoyed it more. I actually talked to.
But imagine doing that without the internet.
Oh, God. Well, that's the question that I had is, Jess, you remember the guy who's originally supposed to be on the show, Ben Schrader, right?
Yeah.
I talked to him a couple days ago about this game and asked him what his opinions were. And he says, yeah, I have notebooks filled with little scrawlings about this game and puzzles and solutions. And it's like, I haven't gone back to play the remastered, but even he said that he doesn't think that it would hold up very well. And he loved this game in its day. He's like, I don't know if I necessarily want to play it again because I feel like it would be terrible to play now.
Well, because I think we viewed this game as a very short game. And I don't think it would have been when it first came out.
No.
Like, we tried to get through it, like you're saying, as quick as possible. And I think if we didn't have the internet, it would be
I'd still be in year one.
I don't know. Yeah.
I would
forever.
You'd be where I was.
Yeah, I'd be trying to get the bread out of the basket.
I got the bread. I got as far as I got to without a guide.
Jesus.
And that involved filling up those worm balloons with the cement stuff.
What was so dumb is you didn't know you had to fill up one balloon with one and one with the other.
I know. I just ended up clicking, running around. I should have just used the guide. I probably would have got a bit further. But I try not to use them too much. Otherwise, I'm just following instructions and not really experiencing the game.
Yeah, that's
or
why
how
I don't like
how
using guides on games.
logically got to a point. Yeah, so...
But again, as we mentioned time and time again, I don't think you missed out on that experience of logical progression because there isn't a logical progression.
Well, yeah, of course.
This would be the game that would argue that you should use a guide. But I used to get guides when I was a kid, but I've kind of stopped nowadays. I mean, I like getting guides, printed guides, because they look really cool.
I only buy the hardcover guides just because I've got a collection of them and they're neat. And I usually only use them in the end game. Like when we were playing Dark Souls Day and I had that guide and I didn't use it up until after we beat it. And then it's like, okay, how can I get this weapon? Did I miss any of these characters? So I'd use it as a post-game enjoyment piece.
I think it's become a thing that's died, though, a lot because of the internet as well. Like, a lot of people don't want them anymore.
But then there are certain games...
every time there was a new Final Fantasy, I used to get the guide to go alongside it.
There are certain games that need a guide. Like Final Fantasy Explorers needs a guide because there's so much shit you can do in it. So my buddies and I last night spent an hour and a half just talking about 2 items. It's like, this would have been fantastic to have a guide on, to just reference, because we each had different opinions on how to get these items and which item was the best. And I guess that in hindsight, I kind of like that because it brought me back to playing games in middle school and high school where before the internet really exploded, and talking to friends about like, hey, how did you do this and how did you do that? And that actually has created more of an enjoyment for us in that game because it forces us to talk to each other more about it instead of just play it and like, this is how you do that definitively.
So I'm playing Xenoblade Chronicles X, Eric, and that is a game that could do with a guide. Like,
that doesn't have one?
It's so complex. I'm not sure, but it is so complex. And the game has like an inbuilt manual which you can access at any time.
See, and I hate those. I hate those manuals.
But the systems are so complex and so convoluted, and they have like a paragraph to describe them, and it's just, you don't know what you're doing half the time. I mean, it's all started to click together in my head because I've played so much of it now, but about halfway through the game, apparently, you can get these giant mechs called skells, and these completely change the game again, so...
I think my favorite style of guide is what they did for Rogue Galaxy, and I showed you a picture of that with the weapon crafting, because that's what I like to see, just a visual graph of this item makes this, instead of reading about shit. Just where do you stand on
to read
guides?
I do like them as a reference point, just so I don't spend a lot of time on something that doesn't actually matter to the game at all. I do think that, I don't know, I feel like recent games don't need them nearly as much.
No. They don't.
I like
told you guys about that.
Go ahead, Dan.
Have I told you guys about the absolutely atrocious Final Fantasy IX guide before?
Oh yeah, we've had long conversations about that. That's one of that's generally regarded as the worst guide ever written because it's not a guide.
Go to this website.
It's so bad everywhere in it. I think even though, Eric, the American version is worse than the European one.
Well, there's that huge collector in me that's like, I look at my Final Fantasy guides, and the only one I don't have is 9, and I still regularly see it in the store, and I just go...
It's been updated. Somebody else has done it.
Don't buy it.
It's a new one.
Don't buy it. Don't buy it. It's super cheap. It's like $5, but there's that part of me, it's like, just buy it and put it there and never touch it. But it's like, I don't...
You could get the updated version, which doesn't include all that shit.
But that's not having the original.
And,
I've got it.
I'm with swapping guides. I'm with Jess. Use it as a reference, but when you start to use it as a crutch to get through something, then you realise that you're better off figuring it out on your own to begin with to get that experience.
I'm the
Grim
same with
Fandango,
cheats as well. Yeah. I don't like using cheats when I'm playing through a game at first.
I can't remember the last time I used cheats.
Yeah, I don't know.
A long time ago.
I used to always use them originally on the Grand Theft Autos, but then I was like, why am I doing this? And then I played through it normally, and it's pretty fun.
I would only use cheats in Grand Theft Auto for times when I had friends over and we just wanted to dick about. So I had two
Yeah.
memory cards. I'd keep my personal memory card like stashed away because I didn't want people dicking with that. And then we had our multiplayer friends memory card of just stuff we'd unlocked and been stupid with.
Yeah.
I did
Just
used to like
spawning
using the
tanks and
Exploder cheat cartridge to change games. That was quite cool.
Now we just have mods to deal with.
Yeah. Like there was an Exploder cheat for one of the Tomb Raiders where she could climb every surface, and you could go to crazy places like on top of the mansion and things like that. It was really good.
Nice.
So Tom, do you think you'll finish Grim Fandango?
I will, but just in my own time.
Yeah.
I'll probably use a guide as well for most of it.
If you can find a decent one, you'd think that when did this come out? 15 years ago? 20 years ago now?
Yeah.
Something
Do you guys use game FAQs? You guys ever use that website?
I like that site.
I do, but I didn't for this one. I figured a game or a site called Grim Fandango Network .net
should probably cover it.
The,
An exclusive guide site.
Game FAQs is hit and miss because obviously it's written by just people in general. So,
but they have reviews on them though. Like they're scored based on how
It's
good
an old site. I remember. Yeah.
And they all have the artwork at the top.
Oh yeah,
like
the ASCII artwork or whatever. It is.
Yeah.
who has time to do that?
I know. But yeah, I use that. Like that site has looked pretty much the same since I first had the internet. It
functions. So why improve it if it's not broken?
No, I know. I mean,
You get some crazy things on there, like
stable.
guides to not leveling up in Final Fantasy and things like that. And,
Yeah.
Well, that's how Kevin got through Final Fantasy VIII without leveling at all.
Final Fantasy VIII, the enemy skill with you though, don't they?
Yeah, but he didn't.
Yeah.
He did not gain a single level on any of his characters from the beginning of the game to the end, because you don't get experience for beating bosses, and those are the only things he fought.
I think with 8 that wouldn't be that difficult because you don't the enemy skill with you.
Well, he said that you had to spend about 12 hours farming cards. Like, it's a huge aspect of the game is doing the triple triad.
Oh god.
Yeah. He goes into super depth on it in our show that we did. So if you're interested in that, check that one out. That's from like March of last year. Any final thoughts on Grim Fandango?
Don't like it.
Don't get it.
Don't get it. No, we got to go deep. Don't get it. No, I don't want to discredit that because I really, really like Double Fine. I love the stuff that they do. I think this was just a product of its time, and I want to take a step back because we are approaching this game from a modern gaming standpoint and trying to compare it against games that we've played now. But I still think even in its time, it would have been as frustrating as we found it today.
I feel like it's worth it just
internet.
for the... Like, the artwork, too, is beautiful. Like, I love that.
Yeah, the game is gorgeous. The storytelling, the dialogue, the characters are phenomenal. You will not be disappointed with that. Just the gameplay is so rough.
If you can slog through the gameplay, you'll have a reasonably decent time.
Did
but
anybody else
It is
kind
a
of-
slog.
Dan, maybe you could agree with this, but towards the end, things just got really choppy. Like, we go from here to here to here, and like really quick things would happen. Like really important things would happen in very quick, choppy succession.
Yeah, but especially with the amount of time you spend in year 2, which is ridiculously long.
Yeah, it's
And
this
then-
big build up to doing something, and then boom, done, over.
Yeah.
The
The last
storytelling's
section,
not
the
as
last
fluid.
section in particular was just stupid, I thought.
Yeah, but I still suggest playing it. I do want to give it that recommendation of play it, appreciate it, because it is a game that is very highly regarded in gaming history. Just don't expect to love the gameplay.
Yep, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I don't
Such a
even
piss
know.
taker.
Not quite.
Damn it. I was going to bring gum today and chew gum ridiculously.
And a hoverboard.
And a metallic collarbone. That should be our new grading scale, is quite or not quite. This game, not quite. Sorry,
that'd
that's...
be so
If
good.
it's just so obscure, or we can't decide to say what.
Oh. All right, we have an email, singular.
An email.
You want to send us an email? Factory sealed at manatank.com. This one comes from
.com.
Mark Marcheschi.
Oh, the Mark Marcheschi.
He says, "Hello, Factory Sealies. It's nifty to hear you are playing Grim Fandango, which I recommended a bit back. It was even cooler to see you talk about a less hyped Psychonauts at that time, too. The noir and festival Grim world is one I love, even with its puzzles that rely heavily on classic adventure gaming logic. Getting to write great beat poetry lines makes up for it. I'll be sure to listen to the episode with my Robert Frost balloon." Also, I am curious if Dan or anyone else has played the Sonic Adventure games. From what I've seen of them, they are really good as if they are legit successors to the Genesis games, with the addition of specific character abilities having value. I never hear them mentioned when people talk about the direction of how Sonic games went through. Have you played them?
You know what? I have dabbled in one of them. I think it was Sonic Adventure DX.
It's one
which
I've
is like a
always
director's
wanted to play.
I'm putting that down as my next selection because I have not played that. There we go. I'll change it now.
Which one did you remove? Batman and Robin? Or Mega Man
He
X?
had Flashback.
You have Mega Man X next.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do. I'm looking at the schedule right now.
Why? Okay. I must have changed it.
Get rid of Batman and Robin and put Sonic Adventure there.
Okay.
I played Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast. I don't know if that's the same game as the DX
Yeah, it is.
version. Okay.
The DX is
yeah, it was
director's
pretty good.
cut.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's kind of like the camera is a bit funny. Not really used to it. It kind
I
of
wonder if they
rotates
were
around.
trying to go after that 3D, like Mario made that transition to the 3D world. I wonder if they're trying to do that same adventure style thing with Sonic and capture that while not losing that fast speed aspect of
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
As long as it's not as
Keep
bad
up
as
with
Sonic 06, it should be all right.
coin. He finishes up his email here. For a question of the type you seem to like so much, is there any particular game you recall having lost so much data from not saving or it crashing that you gave up ever finishing?
I got something. It's a bit unorthodox. I finished the third disc of Legend of Dragoon and put in about 45 hours, and then changed to the fourth disc, put it in, and it was all in German.
Oh no!
So I couldn't finish it.
How did that happen? Did you buy it used?
The game, yeah, I bought it on eBay. It was pretty rare on PS1. It still is now. And so to buy another used UK copy on eBay would have set me back at least £50. And I just decided to pack it in because it really was a struggle getting there anyway. I wasn't really enjoying the game.
Easy to slog through.
Yeah, I
You should have
did
done it in
actually.
German, Tom.
I
Get out
tried.
that dictionary.
Yeah.
You could have learned while you played.
If it had been a really good game, I might have.
I don't think I have any instances of where I stopped playing, but there was a time when I first started playing Final Fantasy VIII where you get the Ragnarok and you can start going between the island closest to heaven and island closest to hell for the enemies that are super difficult, and I was just power leveling. And I probably spent the whole day just power leveling and never really thought about saving. And hopped over to the island closest to hell, hit a T-Rex, and realized that I'd expended all of my items and died and lost 8 hours of leveling.
Use items in Final Fantasy VIII?
I don't... it was something. I don't remember what it was, but there was a reason that I died
Oh, that sucks.
and lost all of that leveling.
I'm again with you. I haven't actually stopped playing a game because of this, but when I was playing Final Fantasy X-2 for the first time, my friend was playing it alongside me, and he brought his memory card over to show me something. And he was loads further ahead of me, accidentally wiped my save from my memory card by hitting save without thinking. I nearly killed him. So it was the worst. And then I missed loads of that game because I was just like, I'm not doing it again. I need your save. So I had to replay it a couple of years later. There's also another instance when I was playing Lost Odyssey. I think I've told you this before, Eric. It's just ring a bell.
Probably.
And Lost Odyssey is for the Xbox 360, by the way, and it came with 4 discs. In the UK version, for some reason, they had a stack with 3 of the discs on, and one of them came in a little plastic wallet. And when you get to disc 4, because it was in this plastic wallet, it got this kind of sticky residue on it, and you couldn't play the 4th disc.
Oh, yeah. And I told you to boil it.
No, you didn't tell me to boil it. I just did it. And then,
I told you to boil
honestly,
it.
right, I didn't want to boil it when I first got it because it was brand new, and I was like, this sounds stupid. And then I did actually, a couple of years later, think, I want to finish this game. And I boiled the disc in a bowl of water, left it for a couple of minutes, dried it off, put it in my Xbox, finished the game. I couldn't believe it worked.
Amazing. Amazing.
I mean, it makes sense as long as it's not hot enough to melt it.
Yeah. But like I said, at that point, I didn't care anymore, so... That was such an underrated RPG. It's fantastic. Really good.
I honestly don't think there are any games that have crashed on me to the point that I haven't finished. I usually get super frustrated and just, give it a little bit of time, and then I come back to it. I don't think I've ever walked away from it.
I might not have finished Sonic 06 because it was so inherently broken.
There's a lot of games I haven't finished, like just flat out not finished.
There's games I've got halfway through, saved, then played a bunch of other games and come back like a month later and I don't know what to do.
I hate that.
Like most
lost. RPGs, sometimes Resident Evil where you don't know which rooms you've gone into and stuff.
See,
yeah, and you have to do because in Resident Evil you have to do a lot of backtracking as well.
Most of those original Resident Evils, my sister and I would play through in one night. We'd just get it and we'd sit down and pound through the whole thing in one sitting.
I think those games are really cool to play in one sitting at night or something with a group of people. That
was our jam.
Because they're like 6 or 7 hours.
Back when I could actually stay up super late and not pay for it the next day. Enjoy childhood while you can, people. It is too fleeting.
Aw, you oldies.
Aww. What about you, Jess?
Jess hasn't got far enough in a game to actually do this.
Like, let me tell you about all the games I haven't finished.
Yeah, right? We'll be here like forever.
What games did we play last year? Oh, all of them.
Do you want the list alphabetically or like
Reverse
chronologically?
alphabetically.
The podcast isn't long enough.
Yes. A to Z descending.
No, but I was thinking like my sister was the worst ever when we were a kid because she'd have like really bad temper tantrums. And if she was losing a game, would full out reset, like hit the reset button every single time. Every single time.
Worst.
And I also found out that she would play, like, if we were playing, like, GoldenEye or something, she would load my character when I wasn't there and then just go around and kill me constantly so her points would increase.
Oh, jeez.
She's such a bad person.
So in multiplayer, she would just have split screen and then just run around and kill you.
Yeah.
I had a guy fall out with me because he was like, "You're looking at my screen." It
is a legitimate strategy. If you cannot overcome somebody screen peeping you,
yeah,
I would when we would play multiplayer games on Xbox, we would get Halo together and get 16 people over there and just pile things together. I had this test that I used to do. I called it my grenade test because people would just put me on my own TV because like, you're too good, screen peeping. You need to be on your own TV. So I would just lob grenades and listen to where they would explode on other TVs in the house, so I knew where that person was.
That is hilarious.
If you're not cheating, you're not
Brilliant.
trying hard enough.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's not really cheating. It's just using your brain.
Yeah.
I saw a picture online where somebody had got a big piece of plastic and stuck it into the middle of the TV
Oh, yeah.
that extended out, and then the kid is sat cross-legged with the plastic balancing on the top of his head, so he can only see the bottom of the screen. And his mates just stood up behind him.
It was a skill
Look,
to get
I was,
really
um,
good at screen peeping because you had to not only manage what was happening on your screen, you had to look at where other people were too. It was super difficult.
Well, when I had
Oh,
a
yeah.
friend, and I had a friend when we were younger, he was a bit dim, and we were playing one of the old WWF games. I convinced him that I could beat him without looking at the TV screen. What he didn't know was I could see the TV screen's reflection in the window. So, like, it was kind of mirror controls, but I still beat him. And he was like, "How did you do this?"
Oh, poor guy.
So that was a proud
That's so
proud
funny.
achievement. He's probably still wondering it to this day, to be honest.
Have you guys played Exploding Kittens? The like new card
No,
game?
I've been wanting to.
It's so fun.
What?
But we were playing it with our friends, and my one friend, his girlfriend was over, and they were playing, and he was like killing her. And she was so mad until she realized that she was sitting in front of a mirror and he could see all of the cards that she had in her deck. So we went like, yeah, it was pretty good.
That's funny. Guys, we have some giveaways this week, don't we?
We do.
This is big because next week we are playing Oddworld Abe's Exodus for the PlayStation 1. And it just so happens that we have 3 super copies to give away. We have a basic copy. These are all for Steam, mind you, because we aren't quite to the physical giveaway yet. We have a Steam copy of just Oddworld Abe's Exodus. We have a Steam copy of the Odd Box, or the Odd Pack, which comes with Abe's Odyssey and Abe's Exodus. Then we have the Odd Box, which comes with Exodus, Odyssey, Munch's Odyssey, and Stranger's Wrath HD. Yeah.
I wonder why they didn't put Munch's Odyssey HD in there. Strange.
That is a good question. So, at the tail end of Mark's email, he was a winner of one of our games a couple weeks back, and he was asking how you get these. To make it abundantly clear, there is a Steam group called Factory Sealed. If you are a winner, please shoot me an email with what your name in the Steam group is and what game you won. I will add you as a friend from the Factory Seal group and send you your game.
And
Easy
what
enough.
is that email address?
factorysealed@manatank.com.
Wonderful.
Got it?
Can you say that
I've got
slower,
it.
please?
How do you spell factory?
F as in factory, A as in actory, C as in Ktori. Would you like me to go on?
Yes.
T
Yeah, okay.
as in Tori.
Shoot me
Oh.
now.
O. I'm not doing this.
Jesus.
I just wanted to hear what you'd say with like the Y. Y is in
Yeah,
Y?
me too.
Where we'd go that?
No, Y is in E, because that's how it sounds.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
All right, so Mr. Yamas,
yes.
how are you?
Are we giving away? What are we giving
Giveaway
away
specialist,
first? The odd
Yamas.
We are going to start with third
the-
place. So here's the thing.
Okay.
We have put out at the beginning of last week a tweet and a Facebook page or a post. All you had to do is like it. If you shared it or retweeted it, great. All you had to do is like it. That gets you an entry, even if you are not a Patreon supporter, which if you want to, patreon.com/factorysealed, anyone who even donates anything, you get extra entries into these digital giveaways. We have some people who donate $10. They get 5 extra entries per digital giveaway.
Whoop, whoop.
So
If we get more money, we can do these more often. So,
yeah.
just saying.
we hit our goal that basically says we do it once a month. I think we've been giving away a minimum of like 3 to 5 games a month.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with Patreon, because you are giving us out your money, but we are putting it back into the show. We're not profiting from it. We like to do these kind of things. We like that you guys listen to us, so we want to give you something
we've
back.
Gotten some good feedback too from it. Like, it makes people feel more involved in the show. I mean, we all have jobs that support us and our families mostly. This is just a way to give back to you guys as a community. So, plus we like it when you play the games along with us. So we're going to be giving these away because we are playing them next week in the hopes that you will play them along with us. And because they're some of the best platform games out there, bar none.
Yeah,
so
really good.
Yamas.
Yes.
Let's give away third place first.
Okay.
Third place is just a copy of Oddworld. Abe's Exodus.
Okay, just Abe's Exodus. That goes to Mark Lee.
I'm sorry, Dan was...
I was tapping.
Oh, Jess was accosting her microphone.
So was I.
Okay.
It was a drum roll.
It was assault.
That failed.
That was the song.
Who does it go to?
It goes to Mark Lee.
Mark Lee. Awesome.
So excited.
I don't know.
Isn't that the guy who just sent us an email?
No, that was Mark Marcheschi.
We have a few marks.
Yeah.
We do have a few marks.
I think Mark already won a game a couple weeks ago, too. So, hey, super sweet.
Nice.
Nice.
What was the second place?
Second place prize is the Oddworld Pack, which is Oddworld Abe's Odyssey and Oddworld Abe's Exodus.
All right, sweet. Let's see who that goes to. It goes to Jack Grant.
Jack Grant.
Nice.
Excellent. All right, and for first place, who gets all of them?
Oh, shit, son.
Shit, son.
Is your algorithm working well, Tom? Is it all good?
Congratulations. Yeah, it goes to Stark Scraps.
Oh, shit, son.
Nice.
I know every one of those people because they are active listeners on the show. So, fantastic.
Yes.
Did somebody take note of who they were? Because I didn't.
I feel like that's Tom's job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've taken note.
Did you really?
I did.
A couple
it's
weeks
my
ago,
job.
we also gave away a copy of Postal 2. I don't remember who won it, so if you still... If you won that, you need to claim it. Otherwise, we're going to give it away again. So yes, if you are a winner, please join the Factory Seal group on Steam. Shoot me an email with what game you won and your name on Steam. I will add you as a friend and send you your game.
Yes.
Easy as that.
Coming up in the near future, if you would like a glimpse into the games coming down the road, we've got next week Abe's Exodus, the week after the brilliant Mega Man X, which Dan has never played. I'm super pumped for that. I feel like we should all be able to finish that game.
Which one?
Mega Man X.
Mega Man
Tom.
X. Okay.
Yeah. It's not Mega Man 10, it's Mega Man X. Then Jess put the very non-linear Sims game. Just The Sims. We're going to
I
play
can't
The
wait to
Sims.
play The Sims.
I don't
can't
know.
wait.
I think I still have my original Sims discs, so I'm going to see if those are compatible with Windows 10.
Let's all make a house.
Fine.
And then Indigo Prophecy /Fahrenheit. That's going to round out February for us.
Oh, I'm excited for that.
She's Louise.
There's not an online mod for The Sims yet where we can all pull together and build a stupid house. That would be excellent.
That would be fun. Multiplayer Sims.
Yeah, man.
I think the only one that I actually currently have that I wouldn't need to purchase is Sims 3. But I think they're all so damn similar that it doesn't matter what we play.
Yeah,
I had Sims. I have Sims 2 with the Sims Pets expansion, I think, somewhere.
Fancy.
Yes.
So, all right.
I've got that
Tom is going to be in America Land in about 4 weeks.
Oh, shit.
That's crazy.
Jess,
Yeah,
I'm
nuts.
assuming you're not going to be able to join us in Vegas again.
No.
No.
Oh.
How about you, Dan?
Oh.
I have 4 days
Dan's
holiday
coming.
left for the year, so it's pretty unlikely.
Good. We're only going to be there for 3 days.
Nice.
It will only cost you a cool $2,000.
Excellent.
It's just the one Curtis this year.
Yeah, just the one. So, any closing thoughts, people?
We have thought.
No. You're right. Shit. We don't have thoughts. I'm going to go put on my finest accoutrements of clothing and go clap at a ball on the grass.
What?
Yeah.
I'm going to go and have some vol-au-vents and tiny cakes again.
Your
4.
biscuit. Excuse me, 4.
Oh, 3 under par.
I could have done better. Hole in one?
Lovely birdie.
I believe that's an albatross.
You got a double bogey.
Oh, I have to carry my own club to the tee box?
A 9-iron, please.
Please. Jeez, will you just carry the ball to the hole for me? I'm so tired.
Oh, Jeeves, breathe for me.
All of this money in my back pocket is weighing me quite down heavily.
You're quite the caddy, Jeeves.
Jeeves, did you get the Rolls-Royce golf cart today, or are we stuck with the Bentley?
Campbell.
What was it?
My cheeks hurt so much.
What?
Dan's like, I don't understand. They're posh. What's that? 90% of the conversations that Tom and I have outside of the show consist of nothing but that.
It's true.
It is.
It's
And I'm
true.
assuming that's all Vegas is going to be.
Yeah, pretty much.
Bring a suit.
Just move so
Bring a
obnoxious.
really fancy suit, Tom. And when we go out,
Yeah.
because we actually dialed back how much we were going to be spending in Vegas. We were going to pool our money and get like a super nice 2-bedroom suite, but we decided let's stay at the Stratosphere because Jess, we had a freaking blast at the Stratosphere. We dialed it back, got super cheap rooms, and we're going to go out to really nice dinner. I think we should make it an opulent dinner.
Just don't go to that seafood buffet.
Quite.
Gotta.
Waiter, I will only drink the finest champagne out of a pure diamond glass filled with diamonds.
Your British accent is getting superb.
It's getting really good.
I
I
practice it
reckon
a
by
lot.
March it's going to be pretty nailed down.
Jeez, crack
Just
my
blend
crab
in.
for me. Squeeze it into thine gullet. My throat kind of hurts now.
Oh god, my cheeks.
It's so easy to be a douchey British.
Yes, it is.
What's going to be what I'm looking forward to the most is they have the rooftop pools, and we can sit and just be super douchey with the people that bring us our drinks. Do you think anybody would notice, like, if we actually talked like that there? Because Vegas is such a melting pot of cultures.
Yeah.
You think we could get away with it?
I think you could sit at a blackjack table and be like, deal me the next hand.
Blackjack
Okay.
again.
Please,
But you
please,
have to
please,
have like
please
the
record
suits
this.
on.
Have the what, Jess?
You have to have the suits on. Like you have to dress the part.
Oh, of
You
course.
have to, Eric, I expect you to have a monocle.
I will get one. I will order a monocle and wear it in Vegas.
Jeeves, fetch my monocle.
$20 minimum bet. Where's the $200 minimum bet?
Excuse me, sir. Can you take me to the high roller table? This one's not high enough. Do you have one that's perhaps a little higher? I need one I need a ladder to get onto.
I don't want to be playing with the plebeians.
Get him away from me. His shoes cost less than $1,000 each. What is this leisure sport you speak of? Slot machines.
Oh, how uncouth.
I need to add that to my British vernacular. How uncouth. Helen. We still haven't come up with a good British girl's name.
Yes.
We'll figure that
Dorothy.
out. I feel like we should
Felicity.
wrap this up.
Dorothy.
Dorothy. No, that doesn't quite fit.
Felicity.
Barbara.
Felicity.
Verity.
True. They are
Victoria. There it is. Victoria.
Oh, Verity.
Oh God! All right, that's gonna do it for this week. We kind of got a little sidetracked there at the end. I'm not even gonna ask for final thoughts because last time it delved into this. So, on that very British note, we will see you all next week. Bye. So I forgot. The Twitter section. Daniel,
Eric.
where might we find you on the Twitter?
If one wants to follow me on Twitter, you could find me at The Frosted Sloth.
Quite. Tom.
Eric, where could we find you?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. You could find me at Honest Pizza. Thomas.
Yes.
That was awesome.
I don't use such things.
I tell Jeeves what to tweet, and he puts it out on Twitter, so I don't have to interact directly with the plebeians.
Oh, how uncouth.
Where might we find your Jeeves on the Twitter?
Is it at Hyperjelly?
Point.
Tom, I really think you should change your Twitter handle to @Jeeves.
Quite should be your Twitter.
Jeeves on behalf of Master Yomus.
Jessica Clarkson. What? Jess, are you still with us?
What?
Where might we find you on the Twitter?
And I'm a Jess.
Yes. Well, with that being said, let me allow you to get back to the outro music of this fine podcast.
Yeah, follow Factory Sealed on Twitter as well. Yay!
At factory_sealed. Quite bye.